Welcome to the Hollow Chord Podcast.
Got married, went to Europe, like shit's been.
Wait, and this is the first one back?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored. Oh, that's cool.
We had to come back with somebody good. We're like,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
I was like single life before. Now I got undivorced.
Wait, man, this is what I want to talk about.
It's a total Delco story.
Yeah, right.
We can get into that if you want.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Ready. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hollow Chord Podcast. I'm here with Bill Riley.
What's up?
And Dan Steinman, also known as the Domino's Destroyer.
What's up, everybody? To give you a little context, this guy eats more pizza than anybody you've ever met.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm sure if you go look in his trash can right now, there's a couple pizza boxes. Guaranteed.
Wow, machine is a pizza box.
Nice.
I'm a little mad at Bill. He's supposed to bring pizza over before he came here today.
Yeah, sorry. Busy. Had work.
Yeah. I was just excited for the pizza pun. I was looking forward to it. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I didn't know the backstory to it. So.
Yeah.
Here we got Eddie Doyle, also known as Driver Ed, who also has a YouTube channel based on, I guess you would say, his Uber rides.
Uber life, man. Uber and Lyft. Don't forget about Lyft.
Oh, you do Lyft too?
Yeah, do Lyft too. You know, diversify.
So how do you simultaneously do that?
You just have both apps open at the same time, and whichever ride is closer or more expensive, you take that one.
Then you just have to close the other one out.
Yeah. Or
that
just
sounds
leave them
like
hanging.
Pain in the
Let them
leave them
cancel,
hanging.
you
Yeah.
know?
Now, do you stack rides too? Like if you have both running, like are you able to pick up a Lyft and an Uber?
Yeah, so I have done that before, and sometimes it can get a little dicey, but other times, you know, you want to roll the dice.
Yeah.
So,
Like, what are you, a fucking Lyft rider?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. But
So-
you guys get the joke, right? Driver Ed.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like some of my best friends, like it'd be like 2 years after I had the channel, they're like, oh, Driver Ed, like your
They
name's
finally
Ed,
put it together.
and Driver's Ed, yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually changed my YouTube channel name to Eddie Doyle because a lot of people were having trouble finding it because like they were getting a bunch of driver's education videos.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so
Such a great name. And
yeah, I know.
ditch it,
Thank
yeah.
you, thank
Dude,
you.
that worked
yeah.
out perfectly.
Yeah, I know.
I thought that was really clever, man.
Well, we'll make sure that we get the YouTube channel and stuff like that put on the Facebook page. That way everybody can just go directly there.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No.
Actually, on Facebook, I am still the Driver Ed Show. I have a Facebook page for that. So
Okay, so we'll
that's
put that
the
up there as
last that's the last Driver Ed link out there.
Oh, man. Yeah, everybody go out and like that for sure.
Yeah, so what'd you do before Uber?
Man, I had a crazy career path. So I'm a Delco boy as well. So I think I Delco. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you guys have seen that in my videos. Whenever people ask me if I'm from Delco, or sorry, whenever they ask me where I'm from, I'll say Delco, and there's just this like universal knee-jerk reaction where everyone just goes Delco. It's like even people not from Delco, like people from Jersey, Delco, and I was like, I never got that memo, but that's 100%.
Dude, everybody's heard of Delco. We were just in the Poconos, Jim Thorpe, and we were at a sushi place, and there was this girl from like the woods. She was our waitress. She was straight from the boonies. I forget like what town she was. She's like, "Where are you guys from?" We're like, "Delco." And she's like, "Oh, I have an aunt and uncle in Springfield." We're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody from Delco. It's just a matter of whether or not they want to admit it.
It's the truth. It is the truth.
Listen, this is a special place, man.
Yeah, it
There's
really
no other place on earth that has a show like an area, specific area. Delco proper. I'm sure you've seen that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no place.
I don't think I've ever been anywhere either where people are so proud to like be where they're from. And it's like you talk to other people that are also from here that are like sick of it, and they're just like,
Yeah, you get one extreme or the other in Delco,
Yeah.
man. Either they're Delco proud or they're like, oh god, I'm from Delco.
But even the people that hate it, they never leave it.
No.
And when they do leave it, they're ready to come back.
Yeah.
There's just like, there's something about it pulls us back in, man.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, so anyway, grew up in Delco, went to Temple. After Temple, had a bunch of different jobs. Actually worked at B101 for a little bit. You
Nice.
guys remember that station?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's back to B101. It was more FM for a little while,
That's
but now I think
right.
they're back to the B. I actually dressed up as the Bumblebee. And then, yeah, that was that was
Oh,
fun.
that was probably
Good.
fun.
Is
for
that
sure.
City Line Avenue?
Yep.
Good old City Line.
Yep. And then after that, I worked at Penn for a little bit. I was in like a high school program, and then in addiction research. And then from there, I was working on a study, and my study was coming to an end. And what they had me doing wasn't. I was basically working in an office, pushing papers to a certain extent, which is like, for who I am, it was like the worst job
Yeah.
you could ever possibly. Like, I didn't even have any windows, so I was like, look, if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to like do something I enjoy. So
Yeah, man, you gotta let your personality out.
exactly,
You're just that kind of guy.
So I was like, if I'm going to be like in front of a computer, I'm going to be like making content and writing and stuff like that. So started doing Uber, pay the bills, and was like, hey man, I'm getting a lot of good stories from this, and Uber channel or YouTube channel was just like the natural progression, I guess.
All right, so do you have like a dream job, or like there's something like you're gonna, like, is there a progression from Uber? Because now you've got yourself in a position where like your YouTube channel is because you do Uber, so you can't just stop doing Uber now.
I know.
You don't have a YouTube channel.
I know. It's kind of it's pretty tricky, especially because like Uber is I don't know the word for it, but it can get a little, especially like when the pandemic stopped, and I think a lot of Uber drivers feel like this or felt like this. That's why they aren't rushing to go back. When the pandemic stopped, people realized how, one, unreliable it was, and two, how it's such a tough gig in the sense that, yeah, you get money every week, but you're also putting a ton of money into your car. And I think a lot of people saw like, hey man, even though I'm not driving Uber, like I'm not fixing my tires or replacing my brakes and doing all this, for gas or whatever. And then on top of it, I don't know what's been going on, but maybe there's just more news about it, but you saw a lot of stories about how dangerous Uber can be.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm like, I think a lot of people took a step back and it's like, why are we doing this? And I think right now, I don't know if you guys have any experiences trying to get an Uber, but it's really hard to get one. But like you said, I'm like, well, if I stop doing Uber, then I lose my YouTube channel. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will keep on Ubering for the time being. As far as a dream job, I don't know. I absolutely love writing. I love movies. I love stories. I don't love being on camera. I don't dislike it either. But in a perfect world, I'm like just doing the writing and letting everyone else do the acting, do the editing, do the like all that kind of stuff. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do, but I just love the writing aspect of it. So yeah, I guess my dream job would probably be like writing screenplays or I don't know, maybe writing for a YouTube channel that somebody else produces or something.
That's awesome. Okay.
But I also, at the same time, I love working for myself, and I'm not great with working with other people. I'm not like a bad coworker. I just like doing things on my own. Like in school, I was the type
March
of
to the
person.
beat of your own drum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like,
Nothing wrong with being independent, man.
yeah, and if there was like a group project, I'd like volunteer to do the whole thing by myself, just so like I didn't have to worry about like stepping on other people's toes or relying on them or something. It's not a great trait, but it's the way I am.
Makes you self-sufficient,
Yeah, right. Which isn't always the most efficient, but.
So with the camera, was the camera in the car like for your safety at first, or did YouTube, was that like the idea, like I'm going to put a camera in and I'll also use it for this, or was it initially like I'm going to have it for my safety?
So there was one video where I brought a GoPro on purpose. I had my puppy. Well, my mom brought home a puppy. I was like, this will be hilarious in the Uber.
Which
That was a
it
big
was.
draw.
Yeah, and that's probably my biggest video.
All of a sudden, you're like, got a fucking puppy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then viral.
Yeah.
Dude, the reactions on that one were great,
Oh, it was
man.
so
Everybody's
cool.
like,
Yeah.
a puppy!
It was so cool. So that I purposely brought a camera, but it wasn't until a couple instances where I was like, this like isn't safe without like documentation. Because at the end of the day, like people don't trust Uber drivers. I don't think people are going to rely on Uber drivers' word versus, you know, a client. And so I got the dash cam for protection, and then I was like, hey man, I'm getting a lot of good footage, let me ask these people if they'd be interested to get on the show. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know that saved you a time or two. Like the girl was the one drunk girl, I think you said you dropped her off in Philly, and what did she do? She scratched your gas cap. That's what it was. I remember that video. And she tried to lie about it, and you're like, I got it on footage. Like I got the footage right here.
And like at the end of the day, like a lot of people or in the comments were like, it's just a scratch, yada yada yada. And I'm gonna be like, dude, all right, let me scratch your car first of all.
Right, yeah. I mean, come on, that's your ride, man. Like
But the main thing was like, you know, if this girl starts saying that I'm taking her down a street she didn't want to go down to, like what's that sound like? You know what I mean? Like,
dude, in today's culture, that's not what you want said about you.
And so like that was the main thing. I was like, I'm just so happy. Like I didn't know if the camera was, you know, could even see her or hear her fall or anything, but I know it heard her say like, no, just let me out here. And I was like, thank God. But yeah, it's that camera, and it definitely provides comfort. The one thing I will say, if you're ever interested in robbing an Uber driver, just take their dash cam, because most dash cams aren't connected to anything. There is one that I want to get. I always lose it, but basically when it records, it uploads the footage to the cloud. Right. So even if they do take the camera,
the footage
you can still get the
saved,
footage.
yeah.
But now it's on an SD. The one I have is on an SD card. So I'm like, you know, if someone ever takes this camera, I'm screwed.
Right.
Like, it's my word versus theirs. You know?
Guys, if you ever get an Uber and you get driver ed, please be nice and don't fucking take his camera.
Yeah.
Come on, we like this channel. He's a good guy. Don't do that.
You can rob me, stab me. Just don't take the camera.
So you said you're a writer. Your books.
Yeah.
How did they come about?
So
they have interesting titles. Now, honestly, I haven't read them. I don't know if you guys have. I want to though.
Oh.
I don't know if you have any copies of your books, but I'll gladly.
I'll
gladly buy one.
I should have brought some. I wasn't even thinking. So a friend of mine I met in college, his name's Jimmy. He's in a wheelchair, and we just had a ton of crazy stories together. And he actually started a business. And after a couple years, I hopped on board with him. And so when I started making content, you know, we always had a lot of stories. We loved talking about our stories, and people were always interested in our stories. So I was like, why don't I just write these down? So that was my first book. And then I have like a PG version, because it's a funny thing. Like I said, he's in a wheelchair, and I think there's a association with disability where it's like everything's PG and inspirational and sweet. And yeah, you know, there's an element, like you can find an element to that in any story. But you know, we were just two guys in college, like partying and meeting girls and just doing stupid stuff.
And I'm sure if he's a laid back dude, he probably joked around about his disability all the time.
Oh yeah.
Probably used it to his advantage too.
Yeah. But
man, you gotta have fun with the hand you're dealt. So.
Oh yeah, and that was a cool thing. Like he never made himself like a victim, or like he never wanted anyone feeling bad for him, anything like that. And you know, that translated into us having some really good times.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's so you wrote a follow-up book too, right? There were two books?
Yeah, the follow-up was like a PG version of it. Cause, like I said, a lot of people were looking for that like inspirational thing, and a lot of like middle schools were interested in it. And you know, I don't know. You can edit it out. I don't know what we go into on this podcast, but like, you know, I don't think middle schoolers want to be reading about his ginormous penis or anything like that. So there's an entire chapter on dick pics. So like,
Imagine reading a book in middle school, right?
Yeah.
And then like when you're an adult, you find the same book but unedited, and it's like it ruins your whole fucking childhood.
Right,
it could be the most inspirational thing you've ever read. It's what you based your whole life off of. All of a sudden, you're reading about this dude's giant dong.
Well, it could be like. What's that movie called with Jonah Hill, where he can't stop drawing dicks?
Oh,
Superbad?
Yeah, that's right. That was a condition.
Oh man, that's funny. So you got anything? You're working on now?
I just have a ton of videos that I still have. I actually haven't driven Uber since the pandemic. Since like, I think the last time I drove was January before. You know, the pandemic started in March, and I'd driven in January. And I just still have a ton of videos that I haven't edited, like a ton of. It's a weird thing, like a lot of. Actually, it's not that weird, but a lot of my videos, like I try to be positive and fun and light, but the problem is. The biggest videos are usually the ones where there's conflict or something bad happens or something like that. Right. And I have a lot of videos with bad things happening.
Yeah.
Everybody
loves the drama.
Yeah, exactly. And like this sounds so like if I heard somebody saying this, I'd roll my eyes. But it's just like not the funnest thing to work on. Like seeing myself get shit on by 4 guys. You know what I mean? I'm like, so like I'd rather not like spend 20 hours editing that video. So part of it's procrastination.
But those are the things that could get you millions of views.
Right. That's the weird thing.
And then you're making boku bucks off YouTube.
Yeah,
dude, you handle it so well too. Like you find like these videos like the one drunk guy cursed you out, and then you had it was either an edit at the end of that video or a follow-up video. It was like what I should have done. Like, dude, you handle yourself so well, and even when you don't, you're like, no, driver Ed knows better. Listen, everybody, like this is what I should have done. I love it, man.
Yeah, I love the voiceovers, man.
The comments really you get on your channel, like I've never seen such positivity.
That's YouTube. Really
that's what makes like your channel is like the voiceovers you do and the commentary you give behind it. Because if it was just your videos, like yeah, they're watchable, but like. I only want to see the ones that are like eventful, right? The ones where you get into a confrontation or like drunk girls or whatever it may be. But now that you have like, you'll have a conversation with that black dude. Like I love
Muhammad,
right?
Yeah.
And and then you had your commentary on it, like in between, like what you were talking about. Like that was really cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate
like
that.
with all them videos, it's like super cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I was just laughing in my head now because I looked over and I was like. Do you think he'd be triggered if I was like, yo, can I dipspit in this Jawn?
Can I dipspit in this Jawn? I was thinking of making that a t-shirt.
It's a note on here to ask you about that.
Can I dipspit in this
You were
Jawn?
ready to fuck that dude up.
Dude, I was so mad. I was just so mad.
That's like, fair, though. This dude you don't know him. He just gets in your ride.
Just let me tell you, I was down the stadium, right?
Yeah.
So I used to drive for Uber.
Oh, really?
And that was the worst fucking area. Dude. Whenever it brought me to the stadium, I'm like, I don't want to take these rides, but I do.
Right.
Because it's so much money because everything's like surging.
And it's like if you don't take it, it's going to be 20 minutes to drive away from that and find a different ride.
So you just take it, but then like that's Russian roulette, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
And so as someone who drove Uber, I don't know how long you've driven or the experience you have, but like part of that, I think people don't understand why I was like so pissed when he took my water was like, you know, it's like anything, like nothing happens just by itself. You know what I mean? Like that's like 3 years of people just thinking they're entitled to my entire car and my entire time and they can do anything.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back, man.
Like, and I'll be honest, like when I see that footage, I'm just like so proud of myself, my reaction and how like I look so
you're standing up for yourself. Like,
like
my stuff, man.
I'm glad like I got the water bottle, like I didn't miss it. You know what I mean? Like that would have looked so bad.
Right.
Instantly, I was like, this dude's fucked.
But then for him to fucking have the audacity to be like, yo, can't you just chug that?
Like he tries.
He
gets
doubled down.
No. And then he's like, well, dude, hurry up.
Can't you chug that, Jawn?
Yeah.
He really did.
Did you drop him off in Delco?
What's that?
Did you drop him off in Delco?
He is from Delco.
Yeah,
he's from Delco.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, fuck that. I'd be like, spit in your hat or get out.
So what I find crazy is that I drove for Uber for like almost 2 years. Now I did it part-time because I had a full-time job too. I was just paying for crazy... paying for some shit that I don't want to talk about.
That'll be the next podcast.
Yeah. Cocaine strippers.
That'll be a private conversation between you and I. Because if I talk about it, it could land me back where I don't want to be. And,
prison.
Not prison. Cost me $20,000. So let's just say that. Anyway, I didn't have any experience like you did. None.
Really?
Like everything was normal.
Were you driving like Sunday morning or something? Like,
nah, dude, I was driving middle of the night.
What?
Like, yeah, because I worked day job. Worked Monday through Friday, so I was really only driving nights and weekends, and mainly just
like
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The weirdest thing I ever had was a girl who like literally fell asleep in the back of my car because it was a 45-minute drive from where she wanted to go home from.
What?
And she just fell asleep, and I just had to wake her up. She didn't throw up. There was no like.
Man.
And like I was a little weird about waking her up because I didn't want to touch her, but like,
yeah,
I just grabbed her shoulder and was like,
yeah.
"You gotta go."
I've been in that situation.
And she woke up and she's like, "Sorry." And then like I think she tipped me $10 too. Like,
man, that's wild.
Yeah.
You should play the lottery or something.
I know, man. I had no bad experiences.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that time of night, I mean, I'm falling asleep. 45-minute ride.
Right.
Good luck, whether you're drunk or not.
See,
Oh yeah.
but like you're super outgoing. Like you're talking to him from the gate now. Is that if the cameras weren't rolling and you weren't planning on doing a YouTube channel, would you still be doing that?
You know, part of it, like going into it, I was like, I just got to be myself. Like I can't like put on a show for the camera. And that comment I roll my eyes at, I get a lot. People are like, you're just doing this for views or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, I'm not like, you know, having somebody
So
steal my water. Like,
right. So I will say that like everything you do seems super genuine.
I appreciate
But
that.
what
yeah,
I mean
absolutely.
is, would you?
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
Like,
so
right. So like you seem to, like instantly engage with them, with your riders.
yeah.
Now,
so,
is that purposely, or like if you weren't doing
think-
YouTube, would you like instantly engage with them? Because
Oh, yeah,
when
so
they
I-
got into my car, I was just like, listen. I played like real chill instrumental music. I said, if you want the music up or down, let me know. If you want me to change it, let me know. If you want the windows up or down, or if you want the heat changed. Other than that, just sit back and enjoy the ride. And that was the last thing I said.
dude, I have a similar spiel. I'm like, if it's hot or cold, or you want certain music, just let me know. Same thing. And I kind of have. I worked in a restaurant for like 6 years. PF Chang's on Glen Mills, Upper Delco.
Upper Delco.
But yeah, so like I don't know. I guess customer service, like that's the way I look at Uber. And I actually have the kind of mindset where it's like don't speak unless spoken to, because like it drives me crazy when I get in an Uber and the Uber driver won't shut up. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to like relax for a second. You know?
Man, I got somewhere to be. I don't need this right now.
I'm like, I'm just trying to breathe for a second. So I think part of that is like I'm only sharing the rides that something interesting did happen.
Right.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, I think the last I checked, I have over 5,000 rides. So I think if I had to think about it, I probably shared in total, like, I don't know, 100 rides. That's probably too much. I probably shared there's probably like 60 or 70 rides on my YouTube channel. So, yeah, I think part of that is just like, whatever they call that, like just because it's there. But most of the time I was like, I don't speak unless spoken to. I did the same thing you did. It's just like a little welcome spiel, and because I'm the same way, man. Nothing drives me crazier than you know, the Uber driver just going off. And then also too is like a lot of those rides are like Friday or Saturday night when people are drinking. Like most rides aren't Monday morning when people don't talk Monday morning. That's an interesting thing, man. Like I wish there was some sort of study, or like maybe I could do that on my channel. Like the vibe of Monday morning rides versus the vibe of Friday afternoon rides. It's just like people hate life Monday morning.
That's a great segment.
They hate life Monday morning. And
there's
Friday
a stark
night,
contrast there.
oh my gosh, it's insane. It's insane.
You should do that.
Yeah,
I think you should start like branching out and having all these segments, and like we have a thing here, like quizzes and karaoke. Like I liked how like you had like the one couple play songs. Like you're like, can't ride in my car unless you.
Oh yeah. Delco Dan, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Delco
Dan's
Dan.
funny too.
Oh,
yeah. He's a riot.
He is something else, man.
Now is he really getting rides from you, or are you just like using that for content?
So I was on Good Day Philadelphia, doing like a karaoke thing, and he tracked me down on Instagram. And he was like, I got a date Friday night. He's like, could you be my Uber driver? And so I was like, all right. And then next thing you know, he's like a regular on the show.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
awesome.
That guy is something else, man. And people are sending him presents. Like,
Yeah.
you got a piece of the aggro crag, man.
He got a piece of the aggro crack.
It was a riot,
He's a
man.
nut. That was so funny.
I reference that video so much now.
The aggro crag?
Well, that or like just the Christmas list one in general.
That's my dude. I love that one. I don't know,
Dude, and I saw that way before he showed me your videos. Vinny was the one that showed me. Yeah, like when we were talking about getting this going again, he's like, "Yo, we need to have Eddie on here," and I'm like, "It's a great idea." But I saw that video a long time ago before I knew who Delco Dan was, and I'm like,
Dude,
"This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life."
That makes me feel so good because like there's one of those videos where like I wish it was viral. Like I just wish because I'm the same way. Like, and it was like. I was just driving home and I was like, you know, dressed up as Santa or whatever. And I was like, what do you want? And it was like unscripted. Like he didn't.
He was just
like,
rifling
rapid fire,
and coming
man.
up with things like that I would never remember, like the aggro crag or like crisscross crash.
But even like when he stopped to take a thought, and I say this all the time, is like, if somebody's like, "Hey, can I get you anything?" I was like, I could use like $5,000.
And what was the system? He's like, he rattles off a video game, and he's like, and then the Sega Genesis too. Like, on that.
That was so good. Oh man, that was so good.
Dude, he's got a couple of just great videos, man. What was the one he laid the tile in the jail cell?
The most Delco story ever. That's another one I wish was viral.
Dude,
that was so great. I thought of you guys actually when I was listening. I listened to a couple of your episodes because he was seeing a what was it called? Tom, or it was at Tom and Jerry's, but he was seeing a Pearl Jam tribute band.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. And then he got arrested and they throw him in the jail cell and he's like,
come on, you remember me, man.
I put these tiles in earlier today. I was like, that's just so dumb.
I was laughing so hard, man. And you guys have a great back and forth, by the way, too. Like, you guys, the chemistry there is just so perfect.
He's a lot of fun, man. He's cool.
But like you could tell, like he was naming like just rifling all the like the best '90s shit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But I got thrown off. He was like soap on a rope, shaped like a baseball. I'm like, whoa.
Man.
He's a nut.
He's a pistol for sure, man.
He's cool.
He's got to be one of your favorite riders.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you have anybody else that's like a if you look back now, that's like a favorite rider of yours?
Man, I mean, so many of them were a lot of fun. There was this group of girls that come to mind. The one girl, she was sitting in the back, and she was just like very sassy with everything, like everything, like every song suggestion, every like they were a real fun time. I don't know, man. Every ride has their own dynamic, and
so how do you deal with the flirtatious girls?
That's like.
So I did have one ride where like it was in Westchester University. I was bringing like it had to be freshly 18 to a frat house, and they're like, Uber driver, why don't you come in? And I'm like, no, like I gotta drive, like I have a kid, like I got shit to do. I can't deal with you right now. And at the time I was like 28, so like I'm just like light years older than them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they kept begging me. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me park up here and I'll come in. And then they got out and I just fucking
dude, that's the way to go.
But like that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I went in. It was
I would have given you 5 stars, but you didn't come in.
Oh, dude, I didn't even check what they gave me. But probably nothing. Or they forgot about me. I mean, I'm not that special. They were already toasted. So,
yeah. Well, and that's why it's like scary, like age, like the alcohol, and it's just like there was. I think it was the first or second weekend I was working. Somebody invited me in, and you go in there, but like I'm driving, so it's not like I can like start partying, and it's also like there was one other time a guy invited me into. He was like, I'll buy you. I think he offered to buy me food. They were at like a restaurant. There was a game on. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll go watch the game. And it's always this like, it's a fun idea. Like, oh, our Uber driver's coming in the party.
Yeah, after the first 5 minutes, it's like, wait a minute.
5 seconds. Yeah,
we don't know each other.
Yeah, it's like, this is weird. And same thing. The guy walks into his buddies at the party. He's like, I brought the Uber driver in. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, I'm going to see myself out there.
Oh, man, that was supposed to be a lot funnier. Like,
yeah, right. No, 100%. And so I think that's the number one way I deal with like that. It's like, all right, not only do I think it's a bad idea, I've experienced it, and I know that this isn't going to be cool. Like not necessarily something bad will happen. And then, just on top of that, I'm like, same kind of mindset. It's like there's no good that can come of it. Underage, drinking, strangers, whatever it is. So it's just like
it's nothing to be part of.
Yeah.
So the flip side, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You do have one story where you went in and partied with the rider for a little bit, though, in a casino, if I remember correctly.
That's right. It was a bachelor party. Yeah, that's right.
What it was.
Yeah. That's different. Casino. I was like, they were funny. Like, yeah.
That was a good video. It was a pretty short one, but I remember driver Ed going, oh, I'm risking it all. And I hit. Yeah. And he's like, let it ride, man. And you're like, no.
I don't usually get lucky like that, so I was like, no way.
You're a smart man. But, cash out ahead. Like
there was something about like earning money like right then and then betting it that was just so reckless and thrilling at the same time.
You get that instant gratification when you see that come up on your number.
Like. Right. That's right. That was cool.
Man.
So you did end up going on a date in one of the Uber rides with the New Mexican.
Says that.
Yo, that was a total Delco date. Tell me it wasn't.
That's legitimate.
Delco date, but it really was a Delco date. But everyone's like, "There's an accident on first date." I was like, "I just wanted some water ice." I mean, she was a nice girl. Don't get me wrong.
No, of course, but like,
but she was. You were like, you got some time to burn. She's like, yeah, like fuck it.
Right.
Tell
me you followed up with that. You still have her number, right? You could call her right now because
we follow. I don't know if I have her number. We follow each other on Instagram.
Because you fucked up, buddy. She's a good-looking girl, and she was into it.
She was into it. Following up with her,
really
man.
Nice. I remember she was really interesting. She was a flight attendant. I think that was in the video, which I just thought was, pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting.
That's
line
cool.
of
She's
work.
probably got a lot of stories too.
Yeah, especially now. But that was one instance. Now I think of it, if the cameras weren't rolling, I don't know if I would have done that. Because when that happened, I was like, this is something I could put on.
That was a total
YouTube,
honest thing you did. It was a nice thing you did, but that could be misconstrued without a camera too.
That is true. I didn't even think of that. I don't know. I mean,
did she know she was going to be on YouTube prior to going to get water ice, or was she like?
No, I don't.
That makes it even like more genuine.
Yeah, like I usually say at the end of the ride.
Yeah, if you tell them first, they're going to put on a show.
And a lot of the times I say like, it definitely like wasn't a show. And like honestly, now that I'm thinking back to it, I remember it was like a Tuesday afternoon, which isn't like super busy. And so maybe I would have done it. I mean, she was cool, so maybe I did one water ice. I don't know. But I do remember thinking, I was like, oh, I could put this on YouTube. So I don't know if I would. I mean, it was genuine. I don't want to take away. It was genuine. But yeah, usually, and that's part of it too. I always feel kind of weird about that. Like, I don't tell anyone. I try to make it clear that it's like your option. I won't put it on YouTube without like your permission.
So,
but I do.
But you kind of do, and you block their face out.
If they say no, or or if there's an instance where if somebody's like, whatever it is, something bad happens, I'm not like, hey, can I make you look like an asshole for the whole world to see?
To prevent embarrassment, we block faces.
I don't even tell them that I have a YouTube, and like, I swear, man, I'm always like afraid that, I don't know how I would feel if I wound up on. Part of the reason I block faces is like, I'm not perfect, and I get tuned up, and I'm not usually rude to an Uber driver, but I've done stupid things before.
Everybody's had bad days, man.
Exactly. And like the last thing I would want to do is like find myself on YouTube. But at the same time, if I was on YouTube with my face blurred out, I would definitely know it's me. And I wonder, like, what does that feel like for these people if they see it? And like, I don't know, Delco being Delco, I'm like, one of these times I'm just gonna get snuck in a bar. It's like, but as I'm going down,
remember me, driver red?
Yeah, right. And I'm just gonna know. Well, it's just once, but I don't know. I guess it's part of the game.
So yeah, that video was like super intriguing to me. Just to like, I guess I don't ever get to see when somebody doesn't know, like what water ice is.
She's like, water ice?
She's like, water? She's like, what's water?
What's some water?
Yeah.
And like now I'm actually saying it, I'm like, oh, they really don't know.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
But that's a real challenge to explain it to somebody that isn't from here.
Like, how would you explain it? How do you explain?
I had the same problem when I was living in Atlanta for a month. Like nobody.
And she's like, oh, like a snow cone. You're like, no,
not
quite.
Yeah.
You don't even get it.
Yeah.
Rita's is something
right. But then the quick wit when he's like, we have a real New Mexican here.
Yeah.
That's what made me watch the video. I'm like, a New Mexican.
Yeah, I know, and that's
what were they before that?
Yeah, right. Right. It does read really funny. I never thought of it like that.
Sorry for the technical difficulty, but this gives us a chance to let you know you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Hollow Chord Podcast. Also on Twitter at the Fuckery of the Day. Don't forget to drop in on Driver Ed and his YouTube channel, Eddie Doyle. Thanks, guys. Back to the show.
Quote unquote YouTuber. Like, a lot of people don't touch their comment section. You're replying to so many comments on there. I'm like, dude, how does he find the time?
And I appreciate you noticing that, because that's like it's part of my daily routine. And like, even when I'm not working on videos or like not posting them, I'm like trying to do that every single day, because YouTube has on like when you sign in, it has like 5 sections, and it's like dashboard, which is like a home. It's like dashboard, analytics, content, playlist and comments. So one of 5 sections that they give you is comments. So like YouTube has to care about this. And like you said, I think part of that does like really, and I like, I just love doing this. It's so much fun. And I'm grateful for anyone that spends time watching my video. And so, you know, I just figure if they're going to comment on my video, good or bad, I want to be able to respond. And yeah, so I like doing that. That's a big part of it. And part of too, like what you said, like a YouTuber commenting stuff. I hate celebrity culture. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. And I hate the fact that, like, you know, when I was driving Uber before and I would say I have a YouTube channel, people would roll their eyes or whatever it is. And now I have some followers. People are like, oh my God. It's like, it's literally the same videos before. Like, my channel had, before the pandemic, had I think less than 1,000 subscribers, and it like grew like crazy out of nowhere. And like these same videos that were up for 2 years that had 900 views, like the puppy video was up for 2 years with 900 views, and then in the next year got like 5 million. Yeah. And I was like, this is the best video on YouTube. Yeah. It's like, it was up for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still this, you know what I mean? And
right.
It's just stuff like that where I think maybe some people get caught up in the numbers and stuff like that. And I just think that's all nonsense. So I try to just stay like, you know, appreciative and as real as possible, because you know,
that's awesome, man. You're so humble. That's like Bill said, you're genuine. You got such an honest approach to everybody.
I appreciate
like
that,
the New Mexican treating her to the water ice. You're not like, nah, you gotta buy. You're like, no, this one's on driver ed.
You ever get recognized?
Yeah, that's so, and that was another weird thing. So before it's so weird, and honestly for me personally, just hearing your feedback about like the videos and stuff, you know, you got a comedian goes on stage and he like shares his jokes or whatever, and even you guys like working together, you can bounce ideas off each other. I'm doing this all by myself, and you know, doing it not just, I didn't really have a following before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic you're not interacting with anyone, you know, so like, yeah, I get comments from online, but they can go a million different ways, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so basically it was really weird. It's still really weird to like learn about the feedback I'm getting from people and stuff like that, and that's like really valuable to hear that, because like I don't hear that at all. And so aside from my Uber stuff, my grandmother, she's been in a couple of my Uber rides, and I started uploading on TikTok videos with her. And it was really interesting because she got that page got 1 million followers, and it was really interesting. People wouldn't recognize me, but I would like go into a store and order a cheesesteak, and they'd be like, do you have a TikTok? I could recognize your voice, because I'm always behind the camera talking to my grandmother. And you know, it's that Delco accent, it's kind of whatever. So people, when that page was like, I don't post that anymore, she passed away, R.I.P. Granny. But
sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. But she, I don't post there anymore, so I don't know how many people like know me from that, but I am starting to like people know me from Uber and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. It's always, you're that Uber guy. It's like, yeah, I am.
Well, it was weird too, because I remember when I was searching through your videos and I seen that one of your videos of your grandmother made it to ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of that show.
Oh, really?
So then when I seen which video it was, and I was like, I remember that video.
Yeah.
So how did that whole thing come about?
Dude, the internet's crazy, and that's like, honestly, I think a big part of being, you know, not just a YouTuber, but like at least something that's been super helpful for me is like just learning about the way all this stuff works. And so like for that, you know, people like a bigger account will like it gets, TikTok's great for growth, but like on Instagram, I think is where a lot of like traditional media finds things.
Right.
And they're starting to find it on TikTok now too. But I guess somebody just found it through some page on Instagram that had reposted it and reached out and you know, asked to put it on. And And again, like it's all by myself, so I'm like, I don't have an agent, and I'm like making sure I'm not getting taken advantage of, and like asking for like I'm reading the contracts, like I have any goddamn clue what I'm doing.
Is that
like,
deep? There's contracts behind
it?
it?
Yeah, because like
do they pay you?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And so like, and it was so interesting too because at first they're like, we want to share this. Can we put it on Ridiculous? And I was like, well, how much? They're like, well, you will get exposure for your clip. And I'm like, what does that do for me?
It's like that.
Like,
I can't pay my bills with exposure, man.
The Oregon Trail. There's like a meme, and it's like it pertains to musicians, and that's a big thing with musicians. Like you'll go to the club and they'll be like,
right.
yeah, you'll get exposure for this, right. And it says you have died of exposure. Like, and
yeah. That's great. Yeah,
like how much fuck am I supposed to feed myself with exposure?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You get the same amount of exposure from dropping trout.
Right. And I don't think you get exposure really because they just show the video. Do they tell
and that's what I said.
They don't tell the YouTube name or
they're not gonna know any of that.
Yeah, they're not dropping driver ed plugs. Come on now.
Right.
I've watched a million episodes of Ridiculousness, and not one time have I ever searched out the channel.
Right.
No, never. Me either.
And same thing with and they all do it. I'm not trying to it was it was just some guy on Ridiculousness that reached out, and I gave a little pushback, and everyone there was awesome. I talked to other people, and I'm not, bashing that show at all because they all do that. But I think about that. You see the commercials for TikTok and I don't know if TikTok ever reached out to me, but I know that they reached out to these creators like, oh, we have this national campaign. We'll get you on there. And people are like, sure. And it's like, you're not looking up that clip. They have the handle on it. And it's like, you're not looking that up, But yeah, so
it's the age-old tale, man. Nobody reads the fine print.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
That's awesome. I didn't know you get paid for that. I thought.
Yeah, well, it's all everything's I guess you call it a one-off thing. Some will not do it if you ask for payment. Others will pay you X. Others will pay you Y. It's all a negotiation.
So now to tie into that, are you still battling with people trying to pirate your videos?
Dude, that's part of the way that landscape is, I guess. It's just it happens, and I try to remind myself it's a good thing in the long run. The only time it really bothers me when people steal my content is when they reframe it or lie about it. There was one specifically where it was Uber rider tries to hook up with driver or vice versa. I forget what they said, and that's really frustrating me. She wasn't doing that, and it really bothered me because it's these people come in my Uber. Like I said, I tell them there's a channel. It's they have no reason to get on the show. You know what I mean? Right. Just I have no reason to get exposure on Ridiculousness for no money. They have no reason to be on YouTube other than it's something fun to do.
Right.
And they're nice enough to do that. And that's part of the reason I try to make it a point to show them in a very good light.
Right.
And so it really bothered me when someone took that and tried to put her in a bad light,
Yeah.
And then on top of
that needs to be an unflattering thing going on there.
And then on top of that, just like you mentioned, personally, I don't want that look. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
It's I don't want that.
Yeah, and somebody watches the wrong YouTube channel with the wrong title. They're not watching yours, and then they see you. They're like, "Oh, this is that fucking creep."
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's the only time it bothers me. Other than that, I think in the long run, it's beneficial. What's that saying? No
publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, that's it.
Or no such thing as bad publicity.
Something like that.
One or the other.
Yeah. So, as far as growth wise, it's not bad. But there's just the principle of it that can bother me sometimes how they frame it. But
now, is there a way that you could copyright your stuff to prevent that from?
I mean, technically, everything you do is copyrighted the second you do it. So, this podcast is copyrighted.
Yeah, it's all intellectual property.
Right,
it's somebody,
exactly.
Anything you put out there in the ether is somebody's intellectual property.
Exactly. So, when that happens, I can report them to TikTok or whatever site it's on. But then I got to jump through all these hoops to prove it. And that one video in particular, I was pounding away at that every single day to try to, and finally got taken down.
There's times, man, it's worth it. A lot of the time you can let it go. You can just be the bigger person. But there's certain times where it's you know what, man, that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
You're worth my extra couple of minutes today to say, you know what, buddy, we need to do something about you.
100%. 100%. And then there's ways you can put like a watermark on your video, but I mean, honestly, I'm just not that. I don't have that. I'm not great with. I'm still using a iMac or a MacBook from 2011, an iMovie. So like, I can only put one picture on the video at a time. So I'm like, and I don't have the watermark yet. And like I said, at the end.
Do you have a logo?
No.
So for doing the podcast for us, I went to school for graphic design. I'll hook you up with a logo.
Oh, no
we'll talk
way.
after this, yeah.
Dude,
and I'll get you a
so
watermark,
cool.
and yeah,
that's
we'll do the
awesome,
whole thing.
Man. That's super cool.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
that's our logo that I did. So.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll hook you up.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's
get your
awesome.
channel to the next level.
There you go. Thanks, man. Oh, that's awesome.
So, are you making money on YouTube?
I am.
Like, is it a livable income?
No,
Okay.
and that's the thing about like trying to figure this thing out. Some days it's like, oh wow, this could be something someday. Other days it's like, let's skip dinner tonight.
Right.
So is that like had enough money for ramen?
right.
Do you see like the money tallying up daily? Is that how that is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like today you can make $1,000 and tomorrow it'd be
Not well.
two
yeah,
bucks.
somebody could, but I
Somebody
couldn't
could,
make
yeah.
$1,000. But yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and you never know, and you're at the mercy of like that's the hardest part. You never know why or how. Like there's been times where it's all relative to views, and there are times when my views just skyrocket, and I'm like, I haven't even logged in for like 4 days, and then there's other times where I'm like working 15-hour days and my views are just plummeting, and I'm like, what's going on here? What did I do?
There's no rhyme or reason to the internet, man.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I feel like you always have to be fresh. So like them new content ideas and like the new segments, like that's you always have to be thinking about that. But I'm sure that's taxing.
Oh yeah.
Wildly
Absolutely.
taxing. It's taxing when we're talking about new episodes and who we're gonna have on, and like thinking about trying to get people is like.
It's a lot, man, because we all work full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Like we have, day jobs, and this is our pet project. Like we enjoy doing this. We enjoy, like Vinny came to us and was like, yo, you got to check out Driver Ed. And we're like, yo, we got to talk to Driver Ed.
I appreciate it. And dude, I think that's awesome. Like at the end of the day, like when the views are up or when views are down or when the comments are negative or whatever it is, it's like, this is just so much fun for me to do. And like, it makes it all worth it, So like the fact that you guys are doing this like with your friends and stuff like that, that's just so cool, you know what I mean? And that's, as somebody, like I said, I do this by myself. Like I'm jealous of the fact that you're doing this with your boys, you know what I mean? Like,
and we're not even just like we grew up together.
Really?
Yeah,
dude,
like children.
Oh,
like,
that's
him and I were
awesome.
fighting each other over scooters when we were like 9.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably even younger.
Even younger than
Oh, that's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
And you play music together? Or?
We've all played music together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like it's to the point now where like our kids are like, that's Uncle Bill, that's Uncle Simon.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's really
It's all
cool.
family, man.
And dude, and that's all, like, I mentioned my grandmother. I have all these videos with her, and life is life, and it happens. And I'm just so thankful I can look back and like see all these videos that I have with her, And at the end of the day, and I've tried to tell this to people before, like, when she was on her way out or looking back now, I'm not like, oh, well, she had this many followers, or it's like she wasn't like, on her way out, like, you remember that video with 3 million views? I was like, no, nobody gives a shit about that, you know what I mean? But it's just so cool to look back on those videos, and like, you guys will have this podcast, like, you know what
for
I mean?
years,
like
yeah.
forever,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
man. We got recordings we did together when we were teenagers.
Yeah, like,
and
how
stuff.
cool
We
is
listen
that?
back and we're like, oh my god, I can't believe we played that.
oh
Like,
yeah, right. I do that with my own videos. Yeah, 100%.
dude, you got some great granny videos, man. Like, and the music video.
Oh
Dude,
yeah,
that was a ride.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, it's like it's a good thing that like we're not like our videos and recordings like aren't on Facebook because Zuckerberg would shut us the fuck up.
Dude, I always say I'm so glad like Barstool and Instagram didn't come out until like after college age. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we would have been doing some stupid stuff just to try to get on there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like.
You have any too hot for YouTube stories? Things that like they were so extreme that you could not put it on.
Well, dude, the crazy thing with YouTube is they're so like they're so weird with their censoring. There was one video I put on. You can basically put anything on YouTube. Some things just get demonetized.
Right.
And the problem when it gets demonetized, other than like, of course you want the money, but when YouTube demonetizes something, they're not going to put it out in front of people because they're not making money off of it.
Right.
I don't know how the revenue works, but I assume it's probably similar to Uber, where YouTube probably gets like 70% of the revenue and the creator gets the other.
Right, they're not doing it for nothing. It's not coming out of the kindness of their heart.
Right,
Everybody's got to make a buck.
Right. So if they are not making money off this video, they're not going to put it in front of people. And there was one video where this guy, and again, this is years of being built up, and I know, maybe I have a little chip on my shoulder sometimes, but I don't like being talked to just because I'm an Uber driver a certain way, right? And the guy's like, no, you're not supposed to be here, when I'm exactly where I was supposed to be. Anyway, in that title, he was like, it was Halloween, he was dressed up like an elf, so I was like, German elf bullies me, or something like that, right? And it got demonetized because bully was in the title. Like, bullying is like a bad word.
Dude,
like,
we're in an anti-bully culture now. Like,
That's
it's
weird.
It's my channel, and I'm the fucking victim.
Right.
Right.
And it's crazy to me because it's like, how can you like learn from it or combat it if you can't talk about it? You know what I mean? Like, it's the craziest thing in the world to me.
I guess as a follow-up question, is there any like appeal that you can?
Yeah. And well, but the crazy thing is, so I thought it was flagged because of language.
Okay.
I think. Or maybe I forget. Like I couldn't figure it out. So I think I edited out a couple curse words. Like, it's so weird. You can't curse in the title, and you can't curse in the first 30 seconds. The F word. But if you do that after 30 seconds, they're fine with it.
But like, 31 seconds, let it fly, baby.
It's so weird. Or like in a music video.
It's probably how long the advertisers want you to watch the video.
That's probably, I never thought that. It's 100% it.
It's probably Pepsi being like, well, we're not giving you any money unless they watch this video for 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Because so many people, 5 seconds in, skip. It's the ADD generation, man. We can't pay attention to things that long. You got like 5 to 10 seconds to grab my attention, or you're gone, man. Next video. There's so much content out there to consume. Like nobody's partial to consuming one particular creator's stuff.
Right.
Except in certain cases.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, we've had lunch together every day for the last little while because I fell in love with your channel,
I appreciate
man.
that.
I loved it. But he told me about it. I was like, yo, this guy's great. Like,
thanks, man.
Yes, I know a little bit about that appeal process because I just put up a lyric video not too long ago of one of my songs, and it told me the footage was owned by Paramount.
Really?
And I got the footage, like it's stock footage from like a media creator in like Ukraine. Like, they don't own it.
So,
and then like I put like a whole bunch of cool clips together that I found, and just put my own lyrics up there. It's my song. I wrote it, and it said Paramount owned it. I was like,
did you appeal?
No, the fuck they don't.
Did they?
Paramount better be paying me for it.
It was free use. Like it's the license was free use on the media
Did
guy's
you win
website.
The appeal?
Yeah.
Oh,
it went up. Yeah,
good. So,
but like, how do you? I don't even know how that algorithm like detects that.
So with that, I think these certain big companies. There was one that I always get, but it's basically like their MO is just to say it's theirs every single time and hope the creator doesn't appeal. And I like read a Reddit thread about that, and I was like, oh, because I've had like 3 times parodies I've done where they're like, this is ours. It's like, no, it's definitely not yours. Right. But yeah, and then as far as the appeal process for like...
And it was instantaneous, too. Like, how did you figure that out?
Oh, no, exactly.
Like, I uploaded it, and like 2 minutes later, I get an email saying it's like blocked.
And Paramount has this like robot running. It's just like, oh yeah, this is close enough. We'll get it. You know what I mean? And it's garbage.
Yeah, it's weird shit.
But then on the other end of like appealing for like community guidelines, like they don't tell you why. So I thought it was curse words, and then it came back, and I like had to talk to someone at YouTube finally, and they were like, it was the bullying, and I was like, this is so
did they ever remonetize?
No, because you can only appeal once. So like they don't tell you why it's wrong. You can like you get flagged, you can try to fix it, whether it's a title or whatever it is, and then you can appeal, but they don't tell you why, and you only get one appeal. So it's like,
you should just be a dick and like re-upload it.
Yeah,
and re-upload it.
I think I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Take it down, re-upload it. I mean, it's already not monetized, so fuck the views on it.
Yep.
Right. You're not losing anything by that. So, I mean, it's crazy because you did the one with where you featured the naked bike ride.
Yeah.
And that was not.
That got age restricted.
Right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't blurred out.
Yeah.
I mean.
I know. Yeah.
You get flagged for bullying in the title.
I know.
But I'm seeing things there that I didn't really need to see when I was eating lunch, dude.
Right. My bad.
No, it's not your fault, driver.
I can't believe that was legal. That was insane to me, man. That was nuts.
Dicks and nips all day.
Dude.
Dicks and nips.
I was laughing though.
Pull your dick out at any other time other than when you're riding a bike. It's totally illegal. That's literally the only time I ever got arrested was for pissing in a bush when I was 16. I was walking home from the music store, and I'm standing in front of I was walking with Tyler Prager. I was like, I had to piss. I was a block away from my house, and like I just went right in the bush, and the cop, like, it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger sounding cop. He said, "Turn around with your hands up."
Oh,
I can't even do like the accent. Can you do it?
Turn around now. Get on the ground.
And there was a camera there. I thought I was gonna be on cops.
Wait, a camera like with the
Yeah, it was
like a cameraman,
like a legit cameraman.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, a block away from my house.
Oh
And
my
like,
gosh!
I had to argue with him. I was like, "Dude, I live right there. Like, don't take me to Upper Darby." Like, I lived in Clifton at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, "Just take me home." Like, my mom would be pissed, but just take me home.
Did he do it?
He called her, and then she came out of the door, and he saw her come out of the door. But I was either pissing myself, or I was pissing in the bush.
Yeah,
And,
right.
That's an easy decision at that point.
Yeah, piss in the bush.
That bothers me because like, how
But-
many dogs peed in that bush?
I know,
You know
right?
what I mean? Like that should be legal.
Their dicks are just hanging around. Their balls are just flapping over
that
the back.
should be legal
Yeah.
too. No, I'm kidding.
But I don't know. He went for his gun too at one point because I had a guitar tuner in my pocket,
Dude.
and he's like, "What's in your pocket?" And I'm not even thinking. I'm like, "It's just a
Yeah.
guitar tuner." And he's like, "You hear like the snap." He's like, "Put your hands back on the car." I'm like, "All right, dude, not today."
Yeah, it's crazy.
Never pissed outside ever again.
Yeah,
But if I was on a bike,
yeah.
with my
It
dick
would have been
hanging out.
totally fine.
Totally fine.
All good. Yeah, man. So, have you had any kind of like cash cab type thing that you've ever done? Like, have you ever tried anything that just didn't really work?
We did. There was like what was it? Adam Sandler had a show in Philly coming. I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan, so we did like
I remember that
an
video.
Adam Sandler trivia thing.
The 100% Fresh tour.
Yeah.
Is that what that one was?
Yeah.
I just watched that video the other day, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, he the 100% Fresh tour or my video?
No, your video.
Oh,
your
gotcha,
video
gotcha.
about with the
'cause
quiz and everything.
I haven't seen the whole tour, but
I've seen that too. That was good, but I did like your video.
Oh, I
better.
appreciate that. Yeah. So like, I did Adam Sandler trivia, and then what was that? It's basically like a newlywed game or something like that, or I forget what we were doing. There was like a couple in there, asking them questions. What's that game? Honeymooners or something like that. There's two couples. Anyway, I like tried that, but nothing really stuck or anything like that. So I don't know. I think people just really like seeing just like the normal, genuine interactions. So,
Right.
yeah.
So I did see the one where I guess it was like a newlyweds type thing with this guy's new girlfriend, and you wanted to see how well they knew each other.
Yeah, the redemption. You got the redemption on it.
They were like, if you get 3 questions wrong, you got to get out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crossing my fingers. I was like, I hope Ed kicks up the fuck out.
We all wanted to see you kick him out, man.
Just to like live to your word and be like, nah, sorry. You know, you're taking the shoelace express the rest of the way.
I will say I love how you are willing to just kick people out from the gate. Like, they're barely in your car already. You're like, get the fuck out.
Driver Ed's got a take no shit attitude, man.
There were a couple times when I was driving where like things felt sketchy. And like my intuition was like, I probably shouldn't take these motherfuckers. Nothing happened, like I said, but I probably should have done that.
Yeah, there's like a feeling.
Yeah.
You just know.
But I like knew that I wanted the money, so I'm
Yeah.
just like, I guess I'll just eat it. Like whatever happens, happens.
Man, I can't believe you drove all that time and didn't have any like crazy
nothing.
experiences. That's wild.
You lucked out like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big time.
Like no one like even close to puking or anything.
No, I mean, there was that, but like, I just gave them a bag and they never puked. Like
Yeah.
I was prepared from the gate, man. I had cleaning shit with me,
You
like
gotta be, man.
vacuums, and
Yeah.
I was super
You
prepared.
gotta expect a puker on a Friday night.
Oh,
Like, even
yeah.
if you don't get it, the expectation has to be there.
After a while, like especially when I got my new car, I was just like, I don't want to drive past like midnight. Like I want to bring people to the bar. I don't want to pick them up.
Yeah. That's when the night changes.
Yeah.
at midnight,
And like
100%.
I would accept a ride and see where I'm going, and I would Google where it was, and if it was at a bar, I would just cancel the ride.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was towards the end, though, before I would pick them up at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were, like, a lot of sketchy dudes who were, like, overly aggressive in, like, not, like, a violent way, but, like, you just know if you said the wrong thing, they're probably going to punch you in the head.
Yeah. Right.
But all in all,
People
it
think
ended
I
up
come
being
off
fun.
that way. Just in general.
It's hard to determine that for me, because you've been the same way since...
We've known you too long to see you like that.
Right. But then, like, you've also seen, like, the other side where it's like...
I've seen some shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with that.
Yeah.
Seen some shit. Should we tell some of them stories?
No.
Oh, come on. They're the good stories.
That's the next show. That's the next show.
Those are off the mic stories.
We gotta give the podcast one story.
No, dude. No. There's one dude out there that, like, I smacked up pretty good. And, like, I think of, like, back to it now, I shouldn't have, because it was stupid and, like, none of my business.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, JB. And now he's bigger than I am now.
Yeah.
And would probably beat the shit out of me at this point.
I remember seeing that, dude. There's few times I was legit scared watching something. I was legit scared watching that.
So
I gotta know what happened.
I'm gonna partially tell this, but this is only like it's gonna be very vague. So we were at a dance, right? And I was
It's
standing
like
up.
high school.
This is a different time that you're talking about.
We were at a dance. This was middle school, maybe.
Okay.
And I was outside talking to a chick, and then Vinny comes running through the door. It's like ba-ba-ba-bung! Like both doors just come flying open. And, well, first the kid's running, and then Vinny comes after him. And she's like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh shit, that's Vinny. The kid's fucked." And then they go behind a wall, and this kid just drops. And Vinny just right after him.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
And then
I had him, like, over a car, and the kid had braces. It was a fucking big mess.
What'd he do?
It was probably something involving a
It's hard to
girl.
say.
Probably
a long
water
time
bottle?
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said chug that water bottle.
Yeah, he was trying to fucking dipspit in that jar. No, but the other time I was talking about the time that was around the corner from your house.
Yeah.
And at the time, he deserved to get what he got because, like, he had hit a girl, and I was like, I don't tolerate that.
Yeah, we're walking up the street, and this is back when everybody had like CD players and the headphones around their neck and everything. He just goes, "Hold my CD player." I'm like, "Okay," and I look up and I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna witness a murder today."
yeah, there were a lot of those.
Looking back at it now, like, I would definitely wish I didn't do any of that.
It happens, man. It's teenage
It was
stuff.
always
We've
over
all
a girl.
gotten into
That's all it
fights.
was ever over. It was always girls.
It's hormones, man. That's what happens.
It's all your fault.
I stole a dude's girl once, and then he started talking shit, and then I punched him in his face for it.
Oh, man. I always feel
Bill.
bad for that guy. It's like, that's a double loss.
I stole his
I
girlfriend.
guess he was talking shit, so.
Yeah, and then he rode up like. Stole his girlfriend, and then he rode up on his bike. He's like, "Yo, are you dating my girlfriend?" I'm like, yeah.
If you want to call it that.
Just coming over today." And then and then he like just left, and then he was just talking shit. So then we saw him at a concert, and we just punched him in his. I punched him in his face.
God, I remember that one too.
Yep.
It was another one of those things like, "Here, hold my shit."
Yep.
You punch him in his mouth. He doesn't want to do anything, so you leave him alone, and then all your friends go beat him up.
What concert was it?
It was just a local
Yeah,
show.
it was a local show. There was like back at the time there was like a bunch of local metal bands that, and like at that time that was the thing to do. Like there was always like a metal show going on at some church or what have you, and you know it didn't barely cost anything to get in, and that was like just some place for us to be without really, you know, having money
Without
to do
causing too much trouble.
That adds flavor to that story, a local show.
You have any Delco stories? Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Springfield.
Okay.
Yep.
I knew a girl from Springfield once.
Oh God, you gonna that story now?
Yeah.
leave that alone.
Nah, she was just creepy.
So many teases here.
We're interesting people too, Ed.
Gotta put it out there.
Next episode, we gotta keep them coming back.
I mean, man, Delco stories. I don't know. I'll tell you what. I was thinking about this recently. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. So there's a couple people I hang out with that are like still getting in fights. Like post-pandemic, it dawned on me, you know, because over the pandemic, people just weren't doing anything. And I'm like, hanging out with these guys getting in fights, and I'm like, you know, I haven't really been in a fight in like 10 years. Yeah. And like, I was in a lot of fights as a teenager and a couple like early 20s. And I'm like, at what point is it like
cringy, right?
Yeah, it's like, you know,
at what point do we draw the line and go, all right, that's enough of that?
Right. Like, at what point is like, hey, you know, I'm a big part of the reason this fight's happening. You know what I mean? Like, I somehow avoided fights for the past 10 years that I didn't avoid as a teenager. So I don't think I was like a victim in every one of those instances.
No, man, that's personal growth right there. That's like, you know, self-awareness. I need to be better than that.
It's just like what you said. It's like, you know, you felt bad about the fight now. You know what I mean? It's like, I doubt you would do that again. Maybe you would. Who knows?
No.
I mean, if a dude rode up on a bike, I'm rolling with you. You know what I mean? Talking shit. But no, I'm kidding.
No, I feel now like, as you know, with me being older and slower.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to say older and wiser.
Like, if something does happen, like, you know, I think to myself, I'm like, I better get them out of there in the first 30 seconds or I'm dead.
Dude, pain is different now.
Oh, yeah.
After 30, pain is different.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Dude, on my bed, I have drawers under my bed, and like the handles come out, and like I literally always scratching my shins against it, and I'm like, my son's next to me, I'm like, motherfucker! And he's like, what happened, Dad? I'm like, this stupid fucking bed. And then, if I'm a little bitch about that, like, imagine getting punched in the face now. Like, that's the last thing I'm looking to do it any day.
Dude, I know.
The thing is, I'll watch it all day long.
That's what I was going to say. I know you guys are UFC fans.
Huge, well, yeah, huge UFC.
Oh, yeah, we'll watch people get punched in the face, but I don't want to get punched.
Yeah, I got no problem watching it, man. Just please keep it over there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's times like when those fighters, like, and they get hit, like, we cringe. We're just like, oh, God.
And they eat it.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Dude, that's something I picked up over quarantine, I guess. Like, just one, that was the first thing to come back, which I thought was super cool. But I like started listening to podcasts and watching all these clips, and like there was like, I don't want to say a low point, but I was like, I'm such a soft individual. Like, you're watching these guys, and I'm like, I couldn't even last. A friend of mine fights like very amateur, and he like told me how to defend from a kick, and he like demonstrated it, probably going like 20%, and same thing, my shin, I was like, ah, like it hurt protecting myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, checking kicks definitely still hurt.
Yeah,
right.
you know, like, how do these people do this?
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
And they're cool with it.
Yeah.
But Brendan Schaub, you know Brendan Schaub?
Yeah.
So he's talked about it, and he talked about it after his Crow Cop fight, I think, where he's in the back, like, throwing up because of the pain.
Oh, really?
And then they hand him a $10,000 check, but they handed him the wrong check first. They handed him Crow Cop's check, which was like $100,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Right. And he had just beaten Crow Cop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then they handed him his check, and it was like 10 grand. And he's like, oh,
wow.
this fucking sucks.
Oh, that's a crazy story. I didn't know that.
There's a little extra.
Oh, so it's like a
sting for you.
predetermined.
That's whatever your contract is.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. You get like 10 and 10. 10 to show up, 10 to win.
Whoa. That sucks.
All right, so we're moving into fuckery of the day. All right, so fuckery of the day, oh, man, you're going to hear any number of things with this, man. So let me just get right into it. So the headline here, Florida woman arrested for strangling and biting Uber driver in unprovoked attack.
Oh, God.
So this chick just goes off for no reason. 55-year-old woman, let's see, a Florida woman, 55 years old, riding in an Uber, 22-year-old driver, and this is at 4:45 p.m. This was only back in April. Okay. So, she falls asleep in the back of the Uber, and he's driving along, and she's making a couple of noises or whatever, nothing like, no indication really what's going on back there. All of a sudden, she wakes up, and she's going, she's just going off, man. She's like, you know, she doesn't know where she's at. She doesn't know why she's in the car or whatever. And she leans forward and starts strangling this dude and bites him on the neck. and like really break skin and everything. This dude is like permanently going to have a mark on him because of this, and it was all for no reason. And he finally like gets over, pulls over, gets out of the car and stuff. Like, she gets arrested, and they said she was drunk. Like, I don't know what she was doing that drunk in the middle of the day. She just goes off on this guy, and you can see, and we'll share this out on the Facebook page and social media in general, but you can see this guy, she's got him from around the neck, and he just has no idea what to do, because who's really expecting that? I mean, driver ed, you're going down the street from the back seat?
Dude, and that's like, those are the stories where I'm like, I don't ever want to drive Uber again. Because think about it, everything, like we talked about, yeah, if you can avoid bars, if you can avoid after midnight, you're like hedging your risk. This is, you said 55-year-old woman? So right there.
55-year-old woman,
female, less likely to be aggressive. Older, less likely to be aggressive. 4:45, the sun's out, less likely to be drunk. Less likely for anything bad to happen. And that, like, what? That's the kind of stuff where I'm like, I'm never driving Uber again.
It's the least expected thing to happen in that situation. But this kid, like, he dropped Uber right away, and I don't blame him one little bit. Like, how do you go back to it and be like, not, looking over your shoulder every 2 seconds? Like, if a 55-year-old woman gets in there and attacks you, you're looking at these drunk dudes on a Friday night, like, yo, bro, I'm packing, like, you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
It's crazy, man, and
100%.
This shit, you can't even explain it why people do some of the shit they do.
It's insane.
But yeah, long and short of it, that's a fuckery of the day, man. That's just something fucked up for no reason.
I understand fuckery of the day now.
Yeah, just fucked up shit. We usually have like a topic, and what we talked about before was, or earlier in the week was, not in my fucking car.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
It's like there's always like a title, like a theme to it, like, and it doesn't have to actually be that situation, but like it just fit this time.
I dig it.
But I actually found like a bunch of Uber horror stories that I read the first one, and I'm like,
I'm definitely retiring after this. This is it for driver ed.
One question I thought too, before we get to my fuckery of the day. So your end game, we kind of talked about it, writing, but like, is there like, do you have like a plan, like a 5-year plan of like where you're going?
I'm a bit.
Could you ever sell your YouTube channel to somebody else?
That's an interesting thought. I guess
you have followers. You have like
one of my favorite concepts is the idea. You have like, everybody has the time. If somebody says they don't have the time, they're just lying. They're just not prioritizing. The example of this is like, if your kid's teacher asks you to make Valentine's Day cards for the entire school, you'd be like, I don't have time to do that. But if they're like, we'll give you $2 million to do it, all of a sudden, I'm sure your week just...
Damn sure got some time now.
So, like, the thought of, like, giving up what I built is, like, far away from me. But, like, somebody offered me, a certain amount of money, like, absolutely, you know what I mean?
Offshoot accounts, driver ed students.
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah. But as far as, like, an end game, I'm a bit of a wild card for... it has its good and its bad to it, but I think, part of the good is, this sounds stupid, and, it's almost, I don't want to say it's embarrassing to admit, but I think it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe somebody hearing this will be encouraged that, you don't have to have everything figured out. I didn't know YouTube could be like a thing. Like, I didn't know people make careers out of YouTube, and I didn't know there were YouTubers that, like, have buku money, like you said, and stuff like that. And so, part of it, I just like trying things. I like doing things, and I'm a real big believer in, like, you never know what next week or next year or, whatever's going to bring. So, I'm pretty easygoing in that regard. The downside of that is I'm like, I don't have a plan, and, I don't. So, there's good and bad.
I think there's some beauty in that you don't have a fucking plan. Yeah.
So,
but I feel like the only way out of your YouTube channel is just to stop.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you just done.
I was,
so like, why waste all that like time you built up? Like, you should probably like have a plan to be like, once it hits here, like, I'm cashing out.
Yeah, right.
But that's
someone will scoop that up.
That's how hoaxes happen too, though. You stop your YouTube channel, like, what happened to Driver Ed? Oh, Driver Ed died.
He got bit by a 55-year-old.
He never saw it coming. It was 4:45 in the afternoon. He wasn't expecting that.
And you could stage that video.
Yeah. I have always wanted, if there ever is a last video, I want to just shoot my car off of a cliff.
Oh man, driver ed, just riding off into the sunset.
Yeah. Later, guys. Am I in it? Am I not in it? You'll never know.
That's a good way to end it. Yeah, you'd probably be making money off that channel forever if you do something like that.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's gonna want to know what happened to you.
And I think, like, you know, you look at, I think Joe Rogan's like the beacon of like what podcasts can become. And I know he like moved to Spotify and he got like a crazy deal. And on one hand, it's like, I know he's still making podcasts, but I think with this deal, it's kind of like, does he really care how it goes? I mean, I'm sure he does, don't get me wrong. And I'm sure it's still going to be good, but like, to me, he's like cashed out, and he's like, because you hear all these stories, or I don't know, at least I hear all these stories about like he's getting censored now and he can't talk about things and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know if it gets to that point if, you know, I get offered that, but I still think I'm young, a lot of time left. So
You don't have any kids or anything?
No.
A lot of
Single
miles
guy,
left
no
to drive.
A lot of miles. Yeah.
There we go. All right, my fuckery.
All right.
We'll just read a couple of these.
Let's end my Uber career right now.
This is just weird, this first one. I'll give my opinion on it after I read it. I once had a passenger immediately ask me if I used perfume when they got in my car. I said no, but I had an air freshener that I'd be happy to put away if it bothered them. The passenger made me sit with the windows down to air out the car for 20 minutes. They then proceeded to apply copious amounts of essential oils all over themselves to calm them from the smell. The essential oil smell was far stronger, gave me a headache, and lingered in my car for 2 days. Did you ever have anything like that? Where
I had somebody, I thought he shit his pants in my car, and I actually asked him to get out. But that was terrible. That was a terrible smell.
Oh, man.
But nothing like essential oils, no.
Either one of those. Shitting your pants, rubbing yourself with essential oil. You're out, man, and I'm done for the day. Like that's the end of my day.
All right, but you just get them, like I see that being just like a middle-aged lady, like super entitled.
Yeah.
Like,
Thinks she knows everything.
Yeah. And does this to every Uber driver. Like, no one can be good enough for it.
Right.
Yeah. Do you ever have like people like that bring like their leftovers from whatever restaurant they were coming from, or?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, one thing about driving Uber, which is crazy, especially in the wintertime, I guess because the heat's blowing, when someone gets in your car, man, you smell them. Like, you just smell them, whether it's good or bad.
All right,
and
like the one dude, you're like, yo, you smell fresh.
Yeah. I said that. I was like, man, I hope he doesn't take it the wrong way. But, like, you smell people. And, like, I've had to catch myself a couple times because, like, it's a Monday morning. Someone's going to work. They just showered. I'll be like, oh, my gosh, you smell good. And I don't want, like, a girl think I'm hitting on her. You know what I mean? It's just like, I just drove some stinky people and you smell nice.
I'm glad you were my next rider.
Right.
So here's another one. We're in Children of the Corn territory, and I'm legit getting nervous. We turn down this back road, and I hear her making sounds, thinking she wants to talk. Nope. She vomits all over my cloth seats in the back while she's asleep and wakes herself up crying. It was my first night driving. I was clearly unprepared. No phone charger and only half a tank of gas. Around 4 a.m., I decided to do one more ride. At the time, when you accept a ride, it didn't tell you how far away it was or the destination until after you accepted it. So I got a request and accepted it. Turns out it was 20 miles north of where I lived. I got there, and a guy had requested it for his drunk lady friend whose house was another 45 minutes north. But I decided to take the girl home, and she fell asleep 10 minutes into the drive. Well, she lived in the middle of nowhere, and I was losing bars on my phone. After she threw up, I slammed on my brakes because I was unprepared. The only thing in my car to clean it up were some Chipotle napkins and Febreze.
Man, on his first night driving.
I dropped her off at home and realized I had only 15 miles till empty, no idea where I was in Ohio, and my phone was dead. I did make it home, though, and Uber paid me $150 extra on the spot for cleaning fees. I cleaned it myself for $15. You ever have anybody throw up? Was
I have
other
had.
that you charged? So I know that one girl came out and cleaned it for you.
Yeah, yep. I had that. That was really cool of her. And then there was another instance where I was in Westchester and I picked up these girls. They were freshmen. This hasn't been on the channel, but this will be on the channel.
Exclusive content.
Yeah, I don't have video. This is just a story. But picked these girls up, and they were freshman girls, driving them back to the freshman dorm, but I picked them up at like a house. So they were the freshman girls that like hung out with the upperclassmen and thought they were cool, even though they were just hanging out before the upperclassmen went to the bar. Like, we all know what that is, right? But they didn't realize that. So we're driving, and the next thing I know, it's, a nice night, the windows are down, and the next thing I know, I hear the sound coming from the back seat, and I look, and her head's out the window, and she sits back in, and she's like, I feel better now. Sure enough, when we got there, I looked at it. It was all over the side of my car.
Oh,
it was disgusting. And they were like, sorry, and they gave me $3. I was like, are you serious? You think this is like what?
That won't even start the pressure washer with the car wash.
Yeah, right. I had to bite my tongue for what I wanted to say to her. But again, they're like drunk 18-year-old girls, so it's just like, get out of my face.
Right.
That was terrible.
That's fucked. What's the longest drive you ever took?
The longest was JFK. JFK International.
It was before one of the last podcasts we did. I was driving before the podcast, and I had to be back by a certain time. I had like a half hour left, so I was like, I'll do one more ride, and I got a JFK ride.
Yeah.
Or a request.
So
when I found out I was going there, I'm like, dude, I can't do this.
Right.
Yeah. Did you do it?
Yeah, and dude, it was crazy. The guy was taking his trash out, and he was like, it was a Tuesday morning. And I was like, oh, you headed to the airport? He was like, I gotta get my luggage. I was like, yeah, you headed to the airport? He's like, yeah. So he runs inside, grabs his thing. I start the trip, and it says JFK. I assumed Philly. He was in King of Prussia. And I didn't even know if I could do that or not. So I was like trying to figure out. I did it. And it was supposed to be like 2.5 hours, but with traffic, the Bell Parkway is like the worst road ever. So it was like a 4-hour trip. That was a real pain. And then, when you get up there, you can't pick up. So I had to like drive back to Jersey before I could get another ride. But not the best. But the funny part of it was that he was flying out of JFK because it was the only flight back to India he could find, and he had to go back to India because there was an unexpected death in the family. And the whole ride up, he's like talking to family on the phone in a different language that I can't understand, but he's crying. But he was a super nice guy, so he would hang up the call and then like try to ask me about my day and like be friendly like through his tears. And I just want to be like, dude, it's all right, just relax.
Oh,
and then he'd take a call, start crying again, and be like, how long you been driving Uber for?
Oh my god,
it was terrible.
So here's a fucked up one. Pre-COVID, my dad would drive for Uber late at night. One night he picks up a girl who's drunk, but it just seems like a normal ride. After a while, she calmly asks him to pull over. He's thinking she's going to puke, so he does. Suddenly, she gets out and starts running down the street screaming that someone is trying to kidnap her.
Oh my gosh.
She calls the cops, and my dad does as well, to explain the situation and that he was just her Uber driver. The cops find her a few streets down and calm her down. Afterward, they ask him if he still wants to take her home, to which he obviously says no.
What?
Dude, why would they even ask that? Like, who's gonna be like, yeah, it's cool, get back in the car, like, I'll finish this ride.
While watching one of your videos, it went to another Uber driver's video, and like, the dude had a gun on him, and he had just robbed somebody, and then like, or no, maybe he was.
I think he was in. I have a video where the guy, I drive somebody who used to be an Uber driver or is an Uber driver, and he tells this story where he picks somebody up from a bar in Westchester, and they're driving away, and he's surrounded by all these cop cars, and they like draw their guns, and here the guy was concealing inside the bar, which is illegal, I believe. I don't think you're allowed to conceal carry in a bar, especially not on campus. Well, anyway, they like, I don't know if they took the guy's gun or what they did, but then afterwards,
they
the
asked him if
cops
they
were
wanted to
like,
give him a ride.
drive him home? And he was like, no, I don't want to. And the cop was like, come on, buddy, you'd be doing basically like, drive him home or we're going to cause problems for you. And so he had to drive him home.
Oh my god.
It's like, that's what that.
That's fucked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but you also did have that one too, where I guess you were you picked up a couple from the bar, possibly, and it was a guy and a girl, and she wanted to go home and then have you send the guy home.
Oh my gosh!
But the guy was just like, "Nah, just take me to her house."
Dude.
And she was like, "What?"
That
No.
was terrible.
Yeah. And she's going, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
Take him to
And
his
like, I can
house."
imagine what you're feeling. You're like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah, I didn't know what I was like. What's my role there? And it's just like, yeah, I don't want to like intrude, but I also like don't want to. My biggest fear was getting there and having a scene when we got there. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I don't want to have to like, go like try to restrain him or like see what I just. So fortunately that turned out really weird. Some random car pulled up and offered to take him, and it was bizarre. That was a weird ride. That was so weird.
So this is a good one of people not understanding how Uber works. Because I got that a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Was Uber pool? Did you ever take an Uber pool?
Weirdly enough, never got an Uber pool.
Really? Man,
Yep.
you were the luckiest Uber driver.
I would dread it too.
Yeah.
Like, I never did Uber Eats. Would never cross that territory.
I didn't do that.
But yeah, Uber
Or
pool
have-
never happened.
Yeah, because a lot of that happens with that. People order an Uber pool because it's cheaper, and then they're like, "Wait, why are we picking someone else up?" It's like it wasn't a cheaper rate because Uber likes you. Like, come on.
Because you're all going to the same the same
right.
It's
direction.
like there's commercials on TV now. You're not getting the Russell rate, all right?
Right. No, exactly.
Right, but I can imagine how that would go to like with an Uber pool, and like you get your ride, and it turns out like the people that you were trying to like get away from also ordered the same Uber. And now you're in the same car with each other.
Yeah, right.
That'd be a fucking story.
So once a man in his 40s got into my car and immediately made a disgusted face. I asked him if everything was okay. He told me to get him another Uber because I was a woman and he didn't trust me to not get into a car accident.
Oh my God.
I've been driving for over 6 years without any marks on my license. Needless to say, I didn't give him that ride.
She didn't give him the ride.
No.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
But like,
I kind of want to do that now. Maybe that's another segment. Just getting these random Ubers, wait till it's a woman or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't trust you. You're a man.
you're gonna get into an accident. But that's people don't understand how it works. You don't just you can't just call your Uber colleague and be like, "Hey, I need you to come get this guy for me."
Yeah.
Like I gotta go home. Like it doesn't work like that.
Dude, that happened to me one time. I think it's the funniest clip. Now that you mention it, I might share it. I think it's the funniest clip. I didn't know if other people would get it, but maybe other Uber drivers were. But this guy comes up to my car. I just picked a passenger up, and he was like, "Hey, I left my wallet in another Uber. Do you know how I can find? Do you guys have a meetup? Do you know the Ubers around here?"
Yeah, let me fucking call Uber Jim see if he's got it.
Exactly.
The only time you ever meet up with an Uber driver is if you're trying to pick up somebody from the airport and you go to the you end up going to the pickup lot.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're with all the Uber drivers that you've ever that ever existed.
Right,
They're all
yeah.
there at one time.
Yeah.
Fucking
But you don't
Ubers.
talk to anybody because you start looking at them like you're fucking weird.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
are you. This is why none of you have jobs and you're driving for Uber. Because you're all fucking strange.
Dude,
It's so true.
You pull in there, you're like, I don't fucking belong here.
Smells,
at
dude.
all.
100%.
It smells.
it's Uber's Anonymous.
They're doing weird shit. They have
It-
they have all these crazy setups coming out of their trunk, and
It's
then once they
so
get a
true.
ride, it all just goes back in like that.
Dude, it's so true. It's so true.
Yep. I'm sitting there playing Angry Birds on my phone. I'm looking up, and these dudes are fucking playing fucking table tennis and
Oh, so
fucking
they're
air
straight.
hockey.
They're straight up tailgating.
Dude, they're tailgating at the airport parking lot,
Yeah, man.
waiting for a call. And when they get a call, it's literally just one lift, thrown shut, and they get in their car and they go.
Oh.
Did you ever go to the bathroom there?
No.
Dude, I reached out to the Inquirer about that because I'm
Yeah?
like, this isn't right. Dude, there was literally. So basically, they used to sit in the just the regular waiting lot, and then they built a lot just for Uber drivers to stop bothering everybody else, and they gave this outhouse thing that nobody takes care of because Uber didn't want to pay for it, the city doesn't upkeep it. Literally, shit. Over all four walls, it was just I don't know what they
Dude,
did.
you never know how this happens. I used to work at Acme, and
I worked at Acme too.
Yeah? Which
down
one?
the shore, down the shore.
down the shore. Okay,
Yeah.
I worked at the Clifton one.
Nice.
Yeah, no, not nice.
Yeah.
But thanks for your comforting words. And you would go in there on a Friday night, a Saturday night, and like there's literally like shit all over. Like they're either playing with it or they just have explosive diarrhea. They're bending over and just fuck the toilet.
Yeah,
Like
I don't understand it, man.
I don't get it either, man.
Yeah.
People take a shit on the floor. I don't never understand that. Like it's just walking, shopping, pull their pants down, shit,
Acme?
pull their pants back up and go. We
In
watch
Acme?
it. We watch it. We watch it on the cameras.
Oh
before.
my gosh.
Yep.
Whoa.
And it's so nonchalant.
That's where I live now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
In that Acme?
in that
Across
Acme,
from the
next to Home
McDonald's?
Depot, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's happened,
I'm
man.
never shopping there again.
Literally, we watched it. It's so nonchalant too. It's like it's a normal thing. Like you and I talking right now.
Oh my god.
That place is wild,
Why
man.
would
Like
they
you would
do that?
They're
never
just
expect
walking in the dairy aisle. They're looking at some yogurt and they put it in their cart and then they take a few more steps and then they're like, just stop for a second. They pull their
it.
pants
By
down.
the way,
Shit comes out.
Are
They
like
pull their
homeless people?
no normal person.
Oh
They pull
my
their pull their fucking
obviously
pants back
not a
up.
normal person.
Well, yeah, seemingly normal
Right, right,
person. Yeah.
Wow,
Otherwise normal, except for the fact they just took a shit in the dairy aisle.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
And I don't ever know who cleaned that shit up.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're right.
I didn't shit on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning that up. Fuck that.
Not part of my job. That's funny.
So I'll read one more. I was having trouble getting to the pickup destination because of a car accident. Did you ever have that happen? Where like roads are closed? And,
Oh yeah.
As I get closer, I learned that the pickup location was the was the accident.
Oh man.
That's great.
The rider came.
Oh God, here we go.
I'm excited.
I don't know if I'm going to read it. The rider came stumbling to my car and stated that he had just been hit by a car on his bike.
Did this happen in Delco?
The drop-off destination was the hospital.
No.
Only in America do we take Ubers instead of ambulance to the hospital.
Dude, ambulances are fucking expensive.
Uber's a lot cheaper.
Oh man.
But I can imagine that definitely happened here. Yeah, dude, I just got fucking hit by a car.
Yeah, you got to be in a real jam to like. I might bleed out in the Uber, but it's still cheaper than the ambulance.
All right, maybe I'll read one more.
Can you put my bike in your backseat?
100%. Yeah.
Oh man, I picked up this guy who was drunk and he asked me to take him to this bar. It was the bar he just came out of.
That's a Delco story.
Yo, dude, can you take me to that bar right there, dude? Man, you just came out of it. Yeah, I know, but yeah, I gotta go back. Gotta go back.
Yo, dude, take me the cup.
Yeah.
Bro, you're at the cup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
sweet.
shit! Thanks, dude. Here's a tip.
Yeah, no, 100%. Bro, that was fast.
That's more like Tommy's.
Fastest driver I ever had.
That's like a Tommy's Tavern.
Yo, man. Yo, man, you might take me to Wawa real quick to get a hoagie?
And I'm gonna eat it right there in that trash.
Dude, I just heard a story like along the lines of something like that. This dude shows up to pick his kid up from daycare, and this dude's like trashed, man. He's just whacked. Well, they don't realize that, and they give him the kid. So this dude goes, does whatever, comes back like a half hour later, and goes, "Yeah, I'm here to pick up my kid."
Oh, my God.
And they're like, you already did that, sir. They found the kid at a convenience store.
Oh, my God.
So this guy, I mean, needless to say, this guy got arrested,
Yeah.
you know, endangering a child,
Right.
public drunkenness, drunk driving, you know, he's screwed. But,
Yeah.
like, could you imagine, man? Like, oh, my
Imagine
God.
working at that daycare.
I left
you might be like,
That's what I mean. Like, what do you do when you're like,
I was there, like,
oh, my
ordering my
God,
hoagie.
I gave this person a child. Like,
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Judge. I was there, like, ordering my hoagie and left my... I left my daughter at the Wawa. She was looking at the chips.
She's in the fucking aisle eating Mike Noise.
She eat the Mike and Ice. I completely forgot about it. I got home. I'm like, shit, where's my fucking daughter? Oh, but I got my water ice instead. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think that as far as like our accent goes, I think the people that did the Mayor of Easttown did a fucking good job.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it. Did you watch it?
I haven't. I heard it's really good.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard conflicting opinions. I've heard it was great, and then I've heard people go, "Nah, they didn't really get it the way."
Really?
I don't know, man. I don't want to say one way or the other, but I've heard both.
Dude, it's in the water, man. It's in the fucking water. You can't
The
be.
what?
You can't be
The
Delco.
what?
I mean, water.
The water.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
Yeah.
In the water.
This guy. Where do you get him from?
Oh, what
Bucks
are you
County?
doing over here, Bill?
I was born in Georgia. So hold on. I was born in Atlanta. Moved here when I was 3. So like
Okay.
I'm still.
So that's where the
But my
water
mom
Yeah.
grew up in Darby.
Okay.
So like, it's still through my blood.
Nice.
Still my blood. Something in the water.
So the only thing I didn't like is like they would still say creek instead of crick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Found my daughter.
That's an easy
I
one.
found my daughter by the creek with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Fucked him up and then ate some water ice afterwards. Said, "Don't ever let me catch you in the creek with my daughter ever again, dude. Fuck you up."
Oh man, no, I got a kick out of it. Even Saturday Night Live did that skit.
That was great. I
murdered my
daughter.
The murder dirter.
Yeah.
My dirter had a baby dirter and she got murdered.
Yeah.
That was great.
So yeah, my wife got so mad at that video. She's like, "That's not how we say it."
Oh, his wife is like daughter. Like door, DOORTER, daughter.
I know. And I have a video like of my daughter.
Your daughter saying, she says daughter. I'm your daughter.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. So I think we call it.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's good.
Covered
Do you
a
have
lot of ground,
anything?
man.
Yeah,
Do you have anything you want to plug or anything coming up? That
No, man, I just really appreciate you guys having me on this show. Again, it's really cool, like, hearing feedback about the channel, because, like, I kind of lived in my own little world over COVID. I think everybody did to a certain extent, but, like, with what I'm doing, it's cool, hearing your thoughts about it. And, I already have ideas of new videos, and I'm like, people like the commentaries. I'm like, I appreciate that. That was really cool to hear. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no
It was
problem.
cool hanging out with you guys. And
Yeah, we'll do it again.
we'll have to arrange it so you get in the Uber, you can talk about this podcast. And
Yeah, let's do
We
that.
call our favorite Uber driver one of these days
There
and
you
take
go.
a ride somewhere.
There you go. And if he's not available, you can get me.
I've retired.
Yeah.
I've retired Uber, so, yeah, so it's only you.
Yeah, no, we could do
Just
that.
have you back on with Delco Danny, right?
Yeah, or I can link you up with Dan. I'm sure he would.
No,
love
you got to be back on with him.
Yeah,
It's the chemistry.
I'm down.
You're cool as shit. So
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. But yeah, he's I don't know if you guys follow him at all, but he's really into music, and I'm sure he'd be a great conversation.
Yeah, I
Just
want to
hear
say
guys.
like if he's ever played, I think he may have played live at Ben and Jerry's or Tom and Jerry's.
Does he sing for that?
I'm fat.
He sings for a band, right?
Delco Crows or
Yeah.
I think it's called
Del
Delco.
Crows.
You said
Del
Del
Crows,
Crows?
that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah, so
Word.
he'd be a cool conversation.
Oh,
about music.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's great, man. We'll link up with him.
Yeah, 100%.
Have him over. That's
Yeah.
great, dude.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm sure he would love to hang out.
Awesome.
He's a trip. That dude's a fucking personality.
He is someone else.
Get him an Ubercast.
What's that?
An Ubercast. We'll just get in your car and drive somewhere.
Dude, 100%. Yeah, we should definitely. Like,
Yeah,
figure
this whole
something out.
thing is mobile, so like we could take.
Oh,
this,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we could
yeah,
Take
for
this
sure.
anywhere.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Wait, so it records on this box here?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, or even if like we even had to do like the cell phone thing or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd make it work.
Yeah,
There's always a way.
there you go.
All right, brother. Thanks for having us.
Hey, man,
Thanks for
thanks
coming
so
on.
much for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We out.